super cheap breakfasts today. They are all bread-based and they're all on the sweet side. So if you are into sweet breakfasts with bread in them, this is the recipe for you. So I'm going to start by making something that's pretty unique. It's going to be French toast muffins. So we're going to use some cubed up bread, which I happen to have some in my freezer. So I got that out of the freezer and let it thaw. And welcome back, I'm Carrie. This is Keep It Simple DIY. I am so glad you're here. And if you're returning, thanks so much for coming back again. And if you're new, welcome. Now I'm just going to make a regular old custard, just like you would when you're making French toast. And I have these like 8-ounce little containers of milk, and I've learned that buying shelf-stable milk like this is actually super helpful for me because we don't drink milk. And I only use it for cooking, and a lot of times if I'm making a baked good, I don't necessarily need milk that is liquid. I could just use powdered milk, and so that's what I do a lot of the times. I'm also going to add, whoa, that was a lot of vanilla. That's okay. And then a little decent amount of sugar in here. Now you normally wouldn't add sugar necessarily in your custard, but we're doing it today. And cinnamon. And I also have some cinnamon sugar out for the topping, which will also include some butter, but we are a ways away from making the topping. So what we need to do is get this all mixed together, and then we need to get our bread in here, and it needs to soak for about 10 minutes before we can proceed to the next step. Okay, we are all mixed together. Also, I got a new whisk. Finally, my other whisk, the silicone was like breaking off, and it was worrying me that I was going to scratch my pan. I love this whisk so much that I bought another one. Okay, in we go. And I think I'm cutting this recipe in half because that's how much breadcrumbs I had. Am I even following the recipe? You tell me. I haven't looked at it in a minute. Whoa. The whisk is not the best option for this. Let me get a different utensil. Spoon. We'll do a spoon. I did get the oven preheating to 350. I'm not sure if it needs 350 or the other recipe if it'll need 350. I'll check that in a little bit, but at least it's working on preheating. Okay, we're almost all incorporated. Okay, we need to let this sit for 10 minutes. And in the meantime, did you happen to notice my earrings? They say Cupid on them. Aren't they super cute? I actually designed these earrings, and my husband got a 3D printer. So we've now been 3D printing earrings, and we decided to get my Etsy shop reopened for the first time in like a decade. Maybe not quite a decade. It's been a long time though since I've had my Etsy shop open. So if you're interested in these earrings, or I have another pair that says love, that's like, let me show you. This is what the version that says love looks like. Then head on over to my Etsy shop, which I will have linked below. And I have a question for you guys. These are a little bit big to have them just like straight on and like against my head, because then they're like bouncing off. And so I chose to put them so that they'd hang sideways. So as you're walking, they face out. But let me know, does it look better to face out, or would you prefer them to face straight ahead and just kind of bang on the side of your head? Not bang, they're very light. But like kind of be in the way of your head. So let me know, what way do you think is better? Next up, we're going to make some French puff pastries. Wait, French pastry puffs. They're not puff pastry. They're just pastries. 1 egg and 1, wait, is that a shell or is that? I don't think so. I think that was just part of the egg. Using that same whisk because of course, no reason to get a different one out. And I'm cutting this recipe in half, and the reason is not what you think. It's because it calls for a cup of milk, and I have a half a cup of milk here. So I'm gonna use up the half of a cup of milk. And then we need a half of a cup of sugar. Let me double check that I'm cutting that in half. Yes. Of course, that splash of vanilla. You know, while we're at it, do we need cinnamon? We don't need cinnamon yet. We need cinnamon for the top. We do need nutmeg, so let's add it now, because why not? We still need to add butter, baking powder, salt, and flour. We need 1/3 of a cup of butter. So let's see. This is 1/2 of a cup, so 1/3 is about 2/3 through-ish. At room temp. This is at room temp. Wait, no, I just got that out of the fridge. That's not room temp. Let me microwave it for a bit. Okay, I think I've mixed it enough to be melted. I think I need a spatula at this point though. I meant to say room temperature. It's pretty solid still, so I think we're okay. Oh yeah. So let's get in how much flour? 1.5 cups. Okay. 1.5. I'm not super precise and it turns out just fine. Now I do try to be precise with the baking powder, so I need 1/2 of a teaspoon? 1/2 of a tablespoon. Okay, I already had that one out. So here's our tablespoon. Oh, I don't think I have enough in here. Nope, let's get more. Okay, 1/2 of a tablespoon. Might as well refill this. I think I just got lucky that didn't spill everywhere. And 1/2 of a teaspoon of salt, and I think we've got everything that we need aside from the toppings. So we're just gonna mix it up, and I probably should be using a hand blender for this. I'm gonna see how well I can do with just this spatula, because I don't really wanna get the hand blender out. So we've gotta make sure to get the butter incorporated. I think we did pretty good. This is looking very well combined. I need to get out my muffin tins, and I think I'm just going to use my reusable ones, and we'll use that for both of these 2 recipes. Let's get this butter off to the side. I know I'm going to need it. How about we go for rectangular muffins today? I feel like that's cute. If I had heart-shaped ones, I would do that, but they might not cook evenly, and I don't have heart-shaped ones. I have cookie scoop for the batter. Ooh, that might be a lot. Maybe I'll just do like that much. That's not big enough. This is actually making quite a bit of these. I wonder what the full recipe would have been. And I hope did I cut everything in half? Oh, I sure hope I did. Oh, I love muffins and quick breads. Those are my favorites. They're like the perfect evening snack. And then you don't feel like you're eating a cookie. Although it's kind of just as healthy as a cookie, right? This must have been makes 2 dozen for a regular recipe, because this is evenly making 1 dozen. All right, I think I'm going to maneuver these around a little differently so that I can fit them on here a little better. Okay, now the recipe says to add butter and cinnamon sugar to the top of these and to the top of those. I think I'm going to leave out the butter portion and just do the cinnamon sugar, because why would we need to add more butter? That's just extra calories. So let's get out some more little containers. And maybe we'll go with circles for these, because why not? I have circles and squares and big circles, like muffins. I have cupcakes, muffins, and squares and rectangles. So I'm going to attempt to just fill these in my hand and then set them down so I don't spill egg on here. So I don't think that'd be that great. Now, were you here for when we did the crock pot French toast? That was not good. I think this is going to be fine because we're going to get a nice crisp to it. But the crock pot French toast was not it. It was soggy and not my thing. Well, sometimes things just work out. That fit perfectly on here. All right, next up is skipping the egg, because these already have butter. These don't have butter at all. Ooh, should I add? I'm gonna add butter on these ones, I think, but not these. So let's get some butter melted. Okay, this is mostly melted. I think I'm going to take just a small little bit and pour it on the top of here on each one. This might have you mixing everything together, but this is how I'm doing it, and it's gonna turn out just fine. Okay, so now we will not butter the top of those. I don't think they need it. And I have some cinnamon and sugar already prepped because I was going to put this on top of a bark that I was making in that failed candy video. And so I'm going to use this. Just get a little bit on top of each. Alrighty, into the oven these go. The next recipe that we're going to do is actually one that I'm quite excited about. We are going to make a cinnamon roll, what do you call that? So this is like a cinnamon roll casserole, and I'm cutting this in half because I'm using this for a different recipe in a different video. I'm going to get this rolled out into cinnamon rolls. Now this recipe calls for store-bought packaged cinnamon rolls, and you guys, I've been buying the packaged crap recently. I mean, crap because the ingredients in it aren't clean. But today I finally had some time to make my own dough, and that's what I'm doing. But you could of course skip this step and go straight to getting from the store, and that's fine. I did that quite a bit of times this season already. And this is not my dough that I usually make, so I'm not quite sure how it'll work out for us. I'm trying to get it somewhat round. Okay, this is where I'm going to leave it. We're going to add the rest of this butter here, and I might need a little bit more butter. Well, they might be okay. Just spreading it with this knife, even though it's a liquid, and it's being just fine. What I'm using the other half of this dough for is to make garlic bread cinnamon rolls. No cinnamon, just the garlic flavor. It's just, what do you call that shape otherwise? A pinwheel? I'm going to get some of this cinnamon sugar over the top. That's what today is all about. Bread, cinnamon, and sugar. And you know, normally I would use brown sugar, but I kind of want to use this up. Maybe I'll add a little bit of brown sugar. No, I think we'll be okay without it. I'm going to roll from the small side to the big side, and you want it to be a rectangle if you're making cinnamon rolls, but because I'm making these into the, what would you call that? Casserole. I'm not worried about it. I'm also thinking I don't need to pinch the ends. So normally I would use floss to cut these into rolls, but I think it'll be just fine to just go through with this pastry knife or pastry scraper and do them this way. Okay, cute. Okay, what I think I'm gonna do is go through and also cut them this way. And now we need to get a little dish. And we'll just throw them in here. Doesn't have to be pretty. And we're officially back to the step that you would be at if you just bought them from the store. Now what makes this special is there's like a pour that you put over the top. What would we call that? A custard. I'm going to get some eggs in here. I'm worried about this egg falling, so let's get that one in. You guys, I don't even think I could do this if I tried. I went to throw away the egg carton. I went to throw away the eggshell, and it fell out of the trash can and landed on my foot. So that was gross. We're going to need some butter. While we're melting some butter, we will add some vanilla and some cinnamon and some maple syrup. And then we also need some milk, and I really like to use soy milk if I'm making something like this. We need to mix this up, and because I didn't end up using brown sugar, I'm going to just add a little bit of molasses to my fork. And this will be a substitute for the brown sugar, since brown sugar is molasses and sugar. So that'll be making up for it. Let's get this butter in here as well. And I didn't follow the measurements, I just went with my heart. Okay, before I get that in here, I do just want to kind of mix these around a little bit so that there's not like a big pile of them. And then I think we're golden to just pour this right on over the top. Oh, that looks like it's gonna be so good. This is like French toast and cinnamon rolls all together. Just wanna make sure nothing gets kind of left out. All right, into the oven this goes. I probably could have used a smaller casserole dish, but these might puff up a lot. So there we go. All right, there you have it. Here are all of our sweet breakfasts. And you know, this looks like the best one. It is still super hot because I just took it out of the oven. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to try it. Maybe I'll get a bite, but these look so fantastic. So let's see here. I wanna try to get a bite. Honestly, I'm a little bit concerned because I put these in with some garlic bread. I hope it doesn't taste like garlic. Does not taste like garlic. It does need a little bit more time to cook though. So I will put those back in as soon as I'm done wrapping up this video, but I wanna give everything a little bit of a taste. Much better than the like crock pot version. That is so good. Let's see these ones. Those are good. These are all great. I'm gonna get this back in the oven, let these ones cool off, then package them up. These are gonna be freezer meals for me. And then I'll also get the garlic bread out of the oven. Call me crazy for doing garlic and cinnamon rolls at the same time, but you know, sometimes you just don't want to run the oven more than once. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here and haven't yet, please subscribe. I'd love to see you. Also, feel free to go check out my earrings on Etsy. And if you're interested in checking out some other videos though, I will leave up some other breakfast videos here, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.